Okay, so an unbiased dice is thrown. Find the probability that the number shown is a 3. Okay, so the probability of it being a 3 is going to be part 1. The probability of it being a 3 will be 1 out of the total number of outcomes. If it's a dice, it has 6 sides, so the number 3 will be 1 out of 6. For part 2, find the probability of it being an even number. So the probability of it being even, and the probability that's going to be even, so you can get the number 2, you can get the number 4, or you can get the number 6. So that's 3 out of 6. And we can simplify that down to 1 out of 2. Okay. The next one there is the probability of getting a 3 or an even number. Okay. So the probability of getting a 3 or an even number So let's think of your dice. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if it's going to be a 3 or an even number, let's have a look there and see. So if it's going to be a 3, that's this one, or an even number, so that will include the 2, the 4, and the 6. So the probability of being 3 or an even number is going to be 4 out of 6. So 4 out of 6, which will simplify down to 2 out of 3. We look here, question 2. So a box contains discs numbered 1 to 16. If a disc is selected at random, what's the probability that the disc will be an odd number? Okay, the first one there is the probability that it will be an odd number. Okay, so it has all the discs from 1 to 16. So I'm actually going to just write them out for the sake of making this easy on ourselves, right? So we have the numbers 1 to 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So this is just to make things easier for you to see when we're explaining it. So a box contains discs numbered 1 to 16. So that's your 1 to 16. What's the probability you get an odd number? So let's just look there. The probability of getting an odd number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 8 out of a possible 16. And 8 over 16 simplifies down to 1 over 2. Okay. Part 2. What's the probability of getting a multiple of 4? Okay, so let's just highlight the multiples of 4 there so we can see them. So the multiples of 4, we'll have 4, 8, 12, and 16. So you can see there that there's 4 possible multiples of 4. So it'll be 4 out of the total. So 4 out of 16. And 4 out of 16 simplifies down to 1 over 4. Okay. So part 3. So part 3 is the probability of an odd number or a multiple of 4. Okay, so the odd numbers again, I'll just highlight them so you can see. So we 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So the probability of getting an odd number or a multiple of 4, so it's anyone that's highlighted will count. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 out of a possible 16. So my answer there will be 8 out of 16. And that simplifies down to 1 out of 2. Okay. And you can see there the reasoning behind that is because the multiples of 4 are also multiples of 2. So we don't need to count them twice. We only count them once. Okay. Okay, so question 3. A bag contains 4 red, 3 blue, and 2 green marbles. If a marble is selected at random, what's the probability that it's going to be red? Now, again, these are very easy if you just do them as they are, right? So let's just have a look. We've got 4 red. So I'll just to make this more visual for you. 1, 2, 3, 4 red. 3 blue, 1, 2, and 3. And 2 green. So 1 and 2. So you should be able to see them there, right? They want to know what's the probability of getting a red. So we'll start off with part 1. And the probability of getting a red marble will be 4 out of a possible 9. Or 4 out of a possible 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, yeah? So 4 out of 9. Because you can see there's 4 of them out of the full amount, which is 9. And think about that logically. It's almost half, isn't it? If I had 5 out of 10, it would be half. So I can see that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, part 2. What's the probability of getting a green marble? Now, before we look at it, just think about what they're actually asking you. So, if you think about this here, think about it in terms of real life. So say this was a bag with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 marbles inside it. Okay, so if there's a bag with 9 marbles inside it, if you were to stick your hand in, would you be more likely to get a red marble or a green marble? In this case, you'd be more likely to get a red, wouldn't you? The probability of you getting a green is going to be 2 out of 9. Okay, because you have 2 possible chances out of 9 possible options. Okay. The last one there is what's the probability of getting a red or a green marble? So in order to get a red or a green marble, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of 9. So the probability of a red or green will be 6 out of 9. And we know 6 out of 9 simplifies down to 2 out of 3. Okay. We'll get on there and do question 4. So a card is selected at random from a pack of 52 cards. What's the probability that it'll be a spade? Okay. So the probability of it being a spade so it's selected at random. How many spades is there in a pack? So you need to know how many cards there is in a pack. So there's 52 cards in total in a pack, but there's 4 suits. Okay, so there's 52 cards in total, but there's 4 suits. So 52 divided by 4 will give us how many spades there is. So 52 divided by 4 gives us 13. So that means that there's 13 of each suit in a pack, right? So that means that there's 13 spades in a pack. If there's 13 spades in a pack, that's 13 out of 52. And that will simplify down to 1 over 4. Okay? And if you think about that logically, a quarter of the cards in the deck will be spades. Another quarter will be clubs. Another quarter will be heads, and another, or sorry, not heads, but hearts, and another quarter will be diamonds. Okay, part 2. What's the probability of a red picture card? Okay, so the probability of a red picture card. Okay, so let's think of the picture cards. You've got the Jack, the Queen, and the King. Okay, now they're all of diamonds. The other red ones that come up are of hearts, the Jack, the Queen, and the King. So you can see there, the probability of getting a red picture card is going to be 6 out of a possible 52. So it'll be 6 out of a possible 52. And 6 out of 52 gives us, let me just check that, 3 out of 26. Okay, so that's the same as 3 out of 26. So all I did there was I divided the top by 2 and I got 3, divided the bottom by 2 and I got 26. The last part there, part 3. What is the probability of getting a spade or a red picture card? Okay, so the probability of getting a spade or a red picture card. So let's just think about your deck of cards. Obviously the spades are separate to the red cards. So the probability of getting a spade was 13 out of 20, or 13 out of 52. The probability of getting a red picture card was 6 out of 52. So the probability of getting a spade or a red picture card is going to be 13 plus 6 out of 52. And 13 plus 6 gives you 19 out of 52. So 19 out of 52. We know that 19 is a prime number, so we can't simplify that any further. Okay, so that's question 5. And you can just go through the solutions there. So you can see there how you work them out. The key thing to note here is for a club or a king, we've got these 13 cards and we've got these 3 cards. So it'll be 13 plus 3, which is 16 out of 52. So part 4, the probability of getting a red card, and the probability of getting a red card is going to be all the red ones. So it's going to end up being a half, but the reason why it's a half is because it's going to be 26 out of 52, and that will simplify down to 1 over 2. Okay, for part 5, we have the probability of getting a queen, and the probability of getting a queen will be 4. So we can see there that we've got 4 cards, so it'll be 4 out of 52, and 4 out of 52 simplifies down to 1 out of 52 divided by 4 gives us 13. And the very last one, the probability of getting a red card or a queen. So VI is the probability of getting a red card or a queen. And how we find that probability is we look at all the cards. So the red cards is 13 and 13, that's 26. So 26 red cards. If I get the probability of a red card or a queen, I'm going to have to include the 2 of them. So that'll be 26 plus 2, which is 27. So 26 plus 2, sorry, 28 I should say. And that's 28 out of 52. And 28 out of 52 simplifies down to 7 out of 13.